Use of pop culture references in marketing is very common. It's a way for brands to find relatability with the people they want to serve. It's also a way for a brand to tap into relevance by tapping into the conversations people are already having with their friends, family, and in their own heads. But from an inclusive marketing standpoint, it's important to understand that all pop culture references are not ones that your brands should be using. I'm Sonia Thompson, inclusive marketing coach, strategist, and consultant, and I help brands attract and retain a bigger, more diverse, and fiercely loyal customer base. All right, so let's get into 3 areas where you should reconsider using pop culture references. First one is whenever it reaches a very homogenous audience. When I say homogenous, I really mean whenever it reaches people only who are part of a dominant group or part of the mainstream and leaves a lot of other people out. So one of the main goals of inclusive marketing is to ensure that more of the people that you serve feel like they belong with you. It's to make those people say, this brand really gets me. But can this brand really get me if we don't have anything, and I mean anything, in common from a pop culture point of view? And when I say that, I really mean if the brand is referencing pop culture on a regular basis, but it never seems to be anything that I'm into, it might make you take a little bit of a pause. I know it does for me. For instance, every reference for your brand can't be for Friends or for Seinfeld, because those shows had a very specific viewership that often wasn't very diverse from a race and ethnicity standpoint. In this sense, you'll relate to one group of fans, but you'll make another group feel like outsiders. Now, there will be other references like Game of Thrones, Marvel movies, and the Bridgerton series that will have a much broader appeal in terms of their fan base that more people will be able to relate to. I don't think that there's one pop culture reference that universally everyone will just be able to get. Some references will be super niche and will speak to only a small group of people, but this works in the case when you're doing it for people who were traditionally part of a group that are underrepresented, underserved, and often ignored. Here's an example of how an influencer on TikTok, Ayame, did it. And there were plenty of people in the comments who were like, I don't get it, what is she talking about? But there were plenty of other people who were like, oh my gosh, yes, I finally feel seen. The key is to add sufficient variety in the pop cultural and cultural references that your brand is using to ensure that you find something that connects with the broad diversity of the customers that you want to serve, who of course have varying tastes and interests. Sprinkles, who makes cupcakes, oh my gosh, their cupcakes are so delicious. They do a very good job with this. They're sending out promotions regularly, but they run the gamut with mentions of special edition cupcakes for Beyonce, House of the Dragon release, Bridgerton, to Lindsay Lohan, and even Taylor Swift. They cover a lot, making it easy for their customer base to connect with a reference that speaks to them. So the key lesson here is to make sure that you've got a diversity of the pop culture references that you are using to make sure that over time you are able to find something that speaks to the broad diversity of the customers you're serving rather than to just one group over and over and over again, leaving other people out. We don't want to leave people out. All right, the second watch out for you when it comes to pop culture references is to ensure that the meaning and the backstory of that reference isn't something that you don't want your brand to be associated with. Now, I'm sure you've seen this meme floating around online somewhere of the woman yelling at a cat. Well, do you know the story behind this, of what was going on with this woman and why she was yelling? And she wasn't actually yelling at a cat. The woman in the image is Taylor Armstrong. She's an original cast member of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Armstrong is yelling at someone who she felt put her life in danger by revealing information about her spouse at the time, his domestic abuse. Armstrong says she was scared for her and her daughter's life at the time.
I was terrified. I don't think anyone recognized how dangerous my life was at the time. I was very upset.
You have no idea what she's done to me.
I really wanted to get my point across that you don't understand what you've done to me. You've outed something that can't be put back, and the consequences for me and my child could be dire. I was living in fear and in danger.
Thankfully, Taylor Armstrong is safe and that dark part of her life is long behind her. Fans who watched this video of Armstrong explaining the context of this story responded with comments like, "Somehow I don't think I'll look at that meme the same again." So with that context, is this meme something that you want your brand to be associated with? Even if the story isn't something that is widely known by most consumers. And even if Taylor Armstrong today can look back and laugh at that meme, is it something that you want to tie your brand to? Or should you just pick a different way to connect with your audience? The point is, wherever possible, take the time to understand the different meanings and context behind different popular memes and pop culture references to ensure it is in keeping with your brand's values. And if you don't know or can't find any details about the origin story, consider whether or not it is actually something that your brand just absolutely needs to use. And the third watch out for a pop cultural reference is all about cultural appropriation. A lot of cultural references these days stem from Black culture and queer culture. And these are both communities whose contributions are often erased in culture, while at the same time having their creations adopted by mainstream communities without giving them proper credit. So a lot of times whenever you're seeing things being labeled as Gen Z slang or internet slang, in a lot of instances, it's AAVE or African American Vernacular English. And it pops up all over social media, including from brands. I'll bet you've seen a variation of this meme in your social sphere. Be-like is an AAVE term. So you might be wondering, Sonia, who cares? What's the big deal about this? Well, there are a few issues. Black people who use AAVE, which that term used to be known as Ebonics, are often viewed as being unprofessional or intellectually inferior for using it. The Linguistic Society of America even issued a statement on AAVE, defending its use and legitimacy by African Americans. Here's part of what they wrote. The systematic and expressive nature of the grammar and pronunciation patterns of the African American vernacular has been established by numerous scientific studies over the past 30 years. Characterizations of AAVE as slang, mutant, lazy, defective, ungrammatical, or broken English are incorrect. So now when non-Black people and brands are using AAVE, it's just slang, and the association isn't any of those negative things. Instead, it's just cool or mainstream or trendy. This is a common hallmark of cultural appropriation. When people from certain cultures embrace and use certain practices, which includes hairstyles, language, styles of dress, patterns, etc., that are unique to their cultures, they are often ridiculed. But when people from dominant cultures use or embrace those same things, it's considered cool. Not okay. Another big challenge with cultural appropriation, and in this case, non-Black people and brands using AAVE, is that it's a form of erasure of the contributions of Black people to society at large. That erasure exists because in almost every instance, there is no credit given to the origin of AAVE terms, another hallmark of cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation is cultural appropriation, whether or not you know you're engaging in it. That's just one of the ethical considerations associated with inclusive marketing. So anytime you see a meme or slang that you see that's being used in culture, make sure you do some research to ensure you understand the context and the origins of it, just like mentioned in the previous point. And if you're a brand where it makes sense to use AAVE, go for it. But if it's out of context or out of character for your brand, or if within your own company culture it would be deemed inappropriate for people on your team to speak that way, don't let it creep into your marketing. Use more inclusive language and forms of communication instead. So I'm curious. Now I want to hear from you. In the comments below, definitely let me know. Are there pop culture references that make you just kind of cringe whenever you see it from brands? Go ahead and put it in the comments below. Let's have a conversation and let's let more brands and marketers more what it is that we want to see and what it is that we don't. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can be the first to know whenever there's a new video on how to attract and retain a bigger, more diverse, and fiercely loyal customer base. Until next time, remember, everyone deserves to have a place where they belong. Let's use our individual and collective power to ensure more people feel like they do. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon.